Greetings. I'm Brian Tuskin, your host. Welcome to Cop to Corporate. Today's special guest is Paige Liwanag from Jobscan. And she's going to talk all about what Jobscan is and how it can help you find that perfect job, or at least get you up to the top of the list.
So Jobscan helps people optimize their resumes for ATS, or applicant tracking systems, which are also known as resume robots. We specifically focus on that ATS element. So anytime you're applying for a job online these days, it most likely is going through an applicant tracking system before it gets in front of the recruiter or the hiring manager. So rather than focusing on writing resumes, we're helping you optimize your resume for ATS.
Jobscan helps you optimize it. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so I should say we do have a resume builder. So if you're coming to Jobscan and you don't have a baseline resume in place, we do have a resume builder that can get you started. But in order to use our scan tool, which is our most popular tool, you need to have a resume, and then you're comparing it to a specific job description that you're interested in applying for. And that's how an ATS works basically, is comparing your resume to certain keywords that are specific to that job description.
So it sounds like Jobscan has that secret sauce to ensure that it lines up. How does it do it?
Yeah, well, so our scan tool the algorithm is built to mirror real ATS. So what happens when a recruiter is using an ATS, and 99% of Fortune 500 companies use an ATS to vet applicants today. And the reason this problem as a job seeker I really do think one of the main problems of the modern job search is that you so rarely hear back about jobs you're applying to, and that creates so much discouragement. And that's probably the biggest pain point I hear from our users, regardless of the industry they're in, is that they're spending all this time writing this beautiful resume or paying a resume writer to write one for them. And they're just kind of just sending it off into the abyss and never hearing anything back. So really there's a total difference between a perfect, beautifully written resume and an ATS optimized resume. You can have both. I tell people to save that beautiful resume for the interview process, but you need the ATS optimized resume for the application process. Because what happens is when you apply for a job online, the vast majority of the time it is going through an ATS. Then when the recruiter is ready to start looking for candidates, they're going to go into the ATS, and it works a lot like a Google search on their end. So they'll type in a keyword like marketing communications, or maybe just communications. Any of the resumes that have that keyword in them, communications, are going to come to the top of their search list. So much like a Google search where, you type something in and the most relevant articles, or those with the top search terms, are going to show up at the top. The resumes that have those keywords listed the most number of times, we call this keyword frequency, are going to shoot to the very top of that list. So if you're using the same resume, that same resume writer perfected resume, for every job you apply to, it likely does not have the keywords necessary to get noticed in the ATS. So when you don't hear back about a job, it really is because the hiring manager is never seeing your resume. And it wasn't like that even at the start of my career, just like 12, 15 years ago. I remember getting emails saying, thanks for the application. We've decided to go in another direction. You just don't get those anymore. You basically either hear back about an interview or you don't hear back at all. And that is directly because of those applicant tracking systems.
Talk about your typical client that would join JobScan. How does that process work? And do you include LinkedIn optimization too?
We do. LinkedIn optimization is one of our JobScan premium tools. So you can use JobScan as a free user. There's certainly no length of time where we're going to cut you off from using it as a free user. But then we have JobScan Premium, which gets you unlimited resume scans. And it also gives you access to those premium tools like LinkedIn optimization and Power Edit, which is our live editing tool, which just helps speed up that process of optimizing your resume. So yeah, usual client, when they are users, when they come in for the first time, are probably going right to that scan tool. And the scan tool is what's going to compare their resume to the job description of their choice. And the reason we use the job description is because most often those key terms that the hiring managers are going to be using to search in their end of the ATS are going to be keywords that are in that job description. So that's just a great, opportunity to compare those two documents.
So as we kind of wrap up and conclude, is there anything you would like to tell my listeners out there that are very specific to law enforcement? If they use or leverage your service, can you help them, like a cop, find that job in a corporate setting using Jobscan?
Absolutely. And one of the things, there are so many people making career changes, regardless of what industry they're coming from or going to. And one of the things we focus on a lot are transferable skills. I can't think of one company in any industry that wouldn't value the skills that, somebody in law enforcement is bringing to the table, like communication and, decision making and leadership. I know a lot of law enforcement professionals have great writing experience. Those are amazing. Those are amazing transferable skills that will go from one industry to another. We also have a career change tool, which you can utilize for free, that takes those transferable skills and it gives you suggestions for which jobs might be a really natural switch for you. So that's definitely worth checking out as well. But yes, I think it's all about making sure that you're putting your best foot forward and making sure that, optimizing your resume for ATS is not about creating a dishonest resume. It's just about making sure that those things that make you highly qualified for the position are front and center and that they're going to be noticed by the hiring manager.
I want to thank Paige for being on the podcast. Jobscan, which I endorse because I have firsthand knowledge that it works, and I appreciate you taking the time to explain to the listeners. And for those of you out there that have not signed up for my YouTube, hit subscribe, connect with us on LinkedIn, and until the next podcast, thank you and see you later.